What's up everyone, Clark Glassford, founder of My Practice Interview, where I help you land your dream job. And today we're talking about job search strategies. And I've got a number one tip strategy here when you're doing your job search, meaning when you're starting to look for roles, how to look for the right role for you. And the tip is stop focusing on job titles. Don't just focus on job titles. So many of us just look to see what the job title is. If it's not the title that we're looking for, we pitch it, we look at other opportunities. You could be absolutely sinking yourself from getting hired with a great organization in a fabulous role that will help propel your career. So I want to talk about not focusing on job titles and what to focus on and getting you to a stage where you're actually in a role that you love. So you're here for a reason. You're here for interview advice, how to write a resume, how to just navigate the craziness of any sort of interview process. You've come to the right place. Like, subscribe, check out the links in my description below. They are full of fabulous places for you to learn, to grow, to help you prepare for your job interview. In the links below is one key link to my Interview Accelerator Platinum Academy digital course. You are not going to want to miss this one. If you want to just kind of rocket yourself in terms of your preparation, check out the links in the course, check out what's encompassed in this course. It will help you absolutely land your role. But we got to get going. Are you ready? I am. Here we go. So, job search strategies. Tip number one. This is my number one tip when you're starting out that job search and you're starting to look at different roles and what you're thinking of applying for, what's next in your career. Stop looking at job titles. We get so focused on job titles, and if the title doesn't match where we think we need to go in terms of our career progression, we just don't look any further into the job or the role or the organization. That has to stop. If you've heard me talk before, you'll know job descriptions are terrible and very poorly written by most organizations. So are titles for roles, very poorly written for most organizations in terms of what the job is actually all about. You need to dig beyond that and really focus on what you love and where you want to be every day for your work. And here's the thing, experience wins every time. So title doesn't necessarily win, title comes later, I'll talk about that, but experience wins every time in terms of progressing through your career. So the type of exposure you get in the role you're in and the experience you gain is so crucial as you progress through your career versus that job title. That will come later and we'll talk about that. I've seen so many jobs that are titled CFO of some organization, like, oh, that sounds really great. And you'll see it on someone's resume and I'm looking at the resume, it's like, oh, hold on a second. This person's just a bookkeeper. No offense to all you bookkeepers out there, but this is just a bookkeeper role, but they're saying they're CFO for the role. So job title doesn't align to the actual duties of the job. So here's what I want you to do that will help you really differentiate yourself for the role. I want you to really read the job description. So if you're looking at a particular industry, looking at a particular organization, read through that job description. Don't just throw it out just because it doesn't say director or VP or senior this or manager of that. Read the actual job description based on the type of role that you're looking for within that organization. You may surprise yourself with what is specifically entailed in that role, and it may pique your interest to start considering it. That's really important. The next thing here is looking at, once you've gone, okay, I've read the job description, that looks pretty good, getting yourself to applying, getting yourself in front of that interview panel or hiring manager. In every interview, you have an opportunity to learn more about the position. This is where you're really gonna hear what's beyond the job description. What the job is actually all about as that hiring manager explains to you the role you've applied for. That's important too. So now you've kind of piqued your interest with the job description. You've now heard from the hiring manager about what the role is. Now you're gonna start to go, maybe this is an actual role for me. The next step here is asking pointed questions in the interview. So you want to ask questions about the role, the organization, the opportunities that exist to grow within that role, and perhaps exposure to other types of experience that you may be looking for. Those are all question sets. When you're in this world of applying for a role with a title that doesn't quite fit what you're looking for, you can ask those questions to see if that's going to be the right fit for you. So you've done the job description, you've met with the hiring manager who's given you a summary, and now you've asked a bunch of questions and you're still thinking, at the end of the day, I think the role title is really important to me. And as a recruiter, I can say, yeah, you know what it is. As I look for certain people, as I'm going through resumes, I'm looking for certain titles and then drilling into their experience. So titles can be important. As a trained recruiter, I do dig deeper, but some recruiters don't, so titles are important. But guess what? When you're in the organization and you've applied for this role and you're at the end of the interview process and perhaps they're moving on with you in the interview process, guess one of the things you can negotiate beyond salary and benefits? You can negotiate job title. You can absolutely negotiate job title. And in many cases, organizations will be flexible with the job title that they give the position based on wanting the candidate, you, who've applied for this role. So you have the opportunity to negotiate job title so it's more in line with what you're looking for in the role. And or if they say, no, you know what, the job title it's within our compensation structure and we can't change it right now. Well, remember what I said at the beginning, experience wins over title every single time. So the experience you're going to gain from this role is going to eventually win over title and will help propel you to the next position that you're going to apply for. So if the position is giving you that experience and exposure that you need at that point in your career to get to the next level in your career, it is well worth you considering taking that role. And the other thing in terms of negotiating title, once you're within the organization and within that role, you start to become an invaluable resource where they want to keep you. In tight job markets like we seem to constantly being in, they will want to keep you. So looking at job title in the future as you step in the role, that may be something that the organization will engage in a conversation with you at that time. So those things can all be done throughout the interview process. You accept the role based on the experience you're going to get and the exposure you're going to get to help you get to the next point in your career. And with any luck, you'll also be able to influence that title at some point. Win, 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 win for all of us, and especially for you, getting the role that actually is meaningful in an organization that you love, in a role that you love. So please, please, please don't just discount jobs and looking at jobs based on job title. Dig a little deeper. Once you've established, that this is a job you want to apply for it, get to that interview, ask those questions, hear the summary from the hiring manager, negotiate job title, you're gold. All right, so that's the tip for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time. And like I always say, keep on rocking those interviews. Peace.